What's going on, everyone? Investor here. It's time for another weekly portfolio update. So I've got a few new additions this week, plus crossing over the 11K threshold for me. It was a good week. So if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any new videos. I try to bring you a weekly portfolio update and other videos as often as I can, especially the weekly portfolio updates. So first things first, you'll notice that the account is now obviously over $11,000, as I mentioned. I was able to put in around $600 into the account this week. I got a small bonus at work, and all of that went straight into the account. So the remaining funds left over from the fractional sell-off that I had during the M1 account transfer also hit. So that totaled together here, you can see the account value is $11,365.42. So great to see it over the 11K. So now let's push to the 12K. That hopefully I'll be able to get that to that mark, hopefully by Christmas. I've got some overtime that I put in this past week, so hopefully on my next upcoming paycheck. Plus, I've got some overtime scheduled for this week for the following paycheck. So hopefully between those two, should be able to get it over the 12K mark. So I did leave some funds into each account, both the taxable and the Roth, just to be able to do some dollar cost averaging. But because I had such a large lump sum, I did go shopping and I picked up quite a few things. So I will show you all that once I get over to the spreadsheet. Plus, there's one thing on the spreadsheet that I'm excited to see, and I hope you'll be excited when you see it. I'm not going to let the cat out the bag just yet. I'll show you once we get over there, guys. So let's jump over, and I'll show you what we've got. All right, guys, over to the spreadsheet. You see quite a few things that were added this week, a couple of new positions, and I'll explain those here in just a second. But you can see I did pick up 2 shares of SCHD, picked up a share of JEPI, just over 1.2 shares of O. A little bit of that was from the dollar cost averaging, as well as I just picked up a full share. Did add to my position quite heavily here in Tesla, really trying to earn some extra income here, and I'll get into that here in just a minute. Added a little bit to Procter & Gamble, as well as the 2 new positions of QQQY and JEPY. And I'll cover that here in a minute, so I picked up 5 shares each of that. So those 2 new positions there, plus everything else. And like I said, this upcoming week here, I'm on a dollar cost average, and I've got a couple things that I'm looking for, probably picking up a couple shares here and there just because I got a few ex-dividend dates coming up. So let's jump over to the positions, and this is the part where I was saying that I'm kind of excited to see. If you'll notice down here, $4.68, my account is no longer in the red. Everything has been kind of working its way up over the past couple of weeks, plus some of the dividends I've received. Being that this is my first year investing, I kind of got into things, was really starting to scale up, and then the market kind of had its rough couple of months there. So everything was down, but at one point in time, the account, I believe, if you go back to some of the old videos, especially if you've been following along, I believe I was down about $700. And so even though it's only up $4, it's in the green, right? So that's what I'm excited to see, is that I'm no longer in the red. Hope you guys are excited to see that too, and I hope your portfolios are doing the same. It's kind of a cool feeling to know, at least, hey, now I'm making money with my account instead of just seeing a bunch of red numbers all over the place. So not bad. I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. Now I just want to see that number go higher, and obviously buying more shares, collecting more dividends, eventually it will. So not bad there. So you see the 2 new additions with QQQY and JEPY, just the 5 shares there. Hey, made about 30 cents on them so far, right? Woo! So, all right, jumping over to the calendar. The energy transfer here is what I received last week for $4.85 for my dividend. So it's the only paycheck I received for the week, but it does bring the monthly total now up to $57.46. And if you didn't catch the video last week, please go check that out, where I finally hit that $50 threshold. I couldn't have been more excited to see that, and now I'm working past that. I'm working into next month, where at least projected it's probably going to be a little higher than this. Now I've got to refigure this out. I was using the Purple Bricks app to quantify all this fun stuff, but Fidelity doesn't link to Purple Bricks. Fidelity doesn't link to much if you have to use that Plaid platform to link things together. Fidelity just doesn't work on it, so I have to find another way to do this here. So I'm looking at a couple things, and if you guys got any advice, tips, tricks, things that I can use that at least will link with Fidelity, please comment below. But I believe this will be a little bit higher, especially since I've been buying. So maybe I'll get it close to 100. Hopefully, that'd be great. But like I said, if you haven't hit the video last week, I did go over the $50 threshold. So now I'm just working on getting that higher. So again, $57.26 now for the month. So just under $250 so far received this year. Hey, not bad for my first year, right? $250. Hopefully I'll end the month out around 350 maybe. So could be good. So working our way across, you'll see the pie charts here. I've actually got to add QQQY and JEPY into that. So, but everything else for the most part relatively unchanged. I did add some things here, but I'll get to the pie charts here. We'll just keep trucking along here. Mouse doesn't want to cooperate today. So monthly dividend, obviously that was check mark because I've surpassed that goal. You see, this is kind of where I'm sitting with everything else now. So JEPY's at 43. O is at 36. SCHD at 42. So I'm getting pretty close. Again, with some of that overtime and things that I've got coming up, I'm going to try my best to add a little bit here with some of the other things that I've got in mind. So still trying to hit that 50. It's going to be really close whether I hit it or not. But I'm still trying to push to hit those goals. And we'll cover a little bit more here in a second, but I've got something that I'm working on that I'm trying to, like, essentially a new goal for next year. I wanted to implement it now just so that things will start working for December, and that way when the new year rolls in January, I just kind of hit the ground running. So now we're at 99.82 for the quarter. You can see I've already surpassed quarter 3, and I still have the entire month of December to go. So hopefully I should double the previous quarter, get a nice triple digit growth again quarter over quarter. And if you're new here, these figures here, I'm just going, 279% is over quarter 1, 110 is over quarter 2, just looking at the quarter over quarter growth. So, and then we'll total it out once we get to the year. So, but 99.82, let me see, for quarter 4, it's a new high. Obviously going to go a lot higher once I get the December numbers in. And with this chart here, just looks kind of sad that it's one bar by itself, but we still got years to go. So 250 for that. So moving across. So the dividend income here, this is kind of where I wanted to spend just a minute and share kind of what I've got going on. So you can see everything here on the left is, again, if you're new here, this is where I've been focusing. If you're returning, this is where a lot of the shares, the O, the SCHD, that's why these figures are up and these columns are down. So you can see I did add the QQQY and the JEPY here. And I still can't figure out where this little is coming from in my spreadsheet, the figures and the data that I used to put this together. So got to figure that out. But the reason I wanted to do this is this upcoming year, I want to have one of my goals be more focused on income generation as well. I'm still looking to buy quality companies. I still want to own good companies, but I also want to try to make a little bit more money. Be able to possibly use some of the dividends to help fund the shares in the new companies. So whether I'm going to, drip any of this money back into each other, I don't know, but I want to try to get more income generation. And so that's what I'm looking for here. More or less another experiment for the year. So you never know how QQQY and JEPY, I mean, how volatile they are and whether they're going to be around, who knows. But I want to take advantage of some of those high yields while I can. Hopefully the share price doesn't deteriorate a ton. But just watching for the first couple months that these been in, they're holding fairly steady. So we'll see. But again, just trying to generate some extra income, try to get the account up a little bit more, be able to use that money to fund some of these other companies that I want to hold long term. So that's where these came in, and that's why I went ahead and pulled the trigger, especially since I got that little bonus, be able to pick up, 5 shares of each of these, as well as add 5 more to Tesla. So that way I can use that funds hopefully to either buy more shares again, or use it to fund and get more shares into the companies that I want to hold long term. But that way I can get them now and I get in before the ex-dividend date so that I can get that dividend payout for December. And that way I can start dripping or whatever I'm going to do with it come the first of the year in January. So that way I didn't have to miss the ex-dividend date and then start all this with the new year. I can just start right in January, already hit the ground running, like I said, receiving what I'm going to receive and go. So that's kind of what I'm looking at with that. So hopefully it works out. So far so good with Tesla. Again, the share price has been up and down kind of thing, but I think actually I'm still down on the position just a couple bucks, but this month's dividend is going to take care of that. So, and I'm hoping that these will do the same, kind of thing. But that's where I'm at. So hopefully it's a good idea. Again, it's just kind of an experiment. I'm not putting thousands of dollars into these just yet. I only picked up 5 shares of each. So I think that worked out to be just about $100 for each one. So we'll see how that goes. So looking at the trend line again, up and up. So November's still at a new high. We're reaching the end of the month here. But then you get to December, and hopefully it's gonna, really overshadow all this and just really take over as the highest peak. And I believe it will. Just looking at the figures, it's gonna take over. So anyway, guys, that's where I've been for the week. Good week for me. The account went over 11K. Picked up quite a few different things. Again, this upcoming week, I'm going to plan on doing the same. Dollar cost average. Plus, like I said, I'm going to pick up a couple of shares of some things. Probably a share or two of Coke. They've got ex-dividend coming up. It's a position I'm trying to help out. Maybe Kraft Heinz as well, because I know I'm down there. I got some things I'm going to work on and think about for this upcoming week, guys. But leave a comment below what you think. Like I said, 11K. So far so good. I'm doing the best I can to have a good solid portfolio, minus, some of these experiments that I'm doing. Everybody wants to generate the income. I'm no different. I want to be able to get some extra money into the account. So please give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, guys. I'll see you next week. Happy investing.